Hi, I'm Rebecca Rosen, a spiritual medium and best-selling author. Welcome to my podcast, Small, Medium, at Large. Although small in stature, I've been taking on the big and unusual job of talking to the dead for over 20 years. I serve as a messenger for spirit, helping people to connect to their departed loved ones and guides, while also encouraging them to strengthen their own intuition. Hi, everyone. So I thought it would be fun to do a podcast episode on what it looks like for me when I tap into my team in spirit, my guides, my angels, anyone that is bringing me clarity and comfort and wisdom from beyond. And so I wanted to take the first part of this podcast and just really talk about the information that I've received in my meditations and in my own automatic writing, which is how I download my channeled messages. And, this really comes down to, it feels like a energy update for, now through the end of 2020. And what I want to share with you before I do a deep dive into this is that you have to remember with anyone that you're looking to for wisdom and guidance, gut check it, okay? I am bringing you information through my channel. And I know for me, my intention is to be a pure channel and to not project any of my thoughts, opinions, or judgments onto the information that I bring through, whether that's in my readings or through, written messages that I share with all of you. And now in this case. And so I'm going to share all this with you and take what works. If it feels like truth to you, then it probably is. When you get this feeling, whether it's you get the chills or you start to feel a little bit emotional or something just really feels like it resonates, that's your guidance, right? Our feelings are our guidance. So listen and trust that. And then leave the rest. If something doesn't resonate, that's okay. That may not be in alignment with your truth. Okay, so moving into this, I think it goes without saying, we are experiencing a global shift on many levels. And it's been a long time in the making. But by now, if you've followed me over this past year, I've shared some of my insight on all of the changes taking place on planet Earth right now. And in my opinion, it really just feels like it's a cosmic reboot that we are experiencing. So the Earth is out of balance, and it has been for some time. And it's seeking to regain equilibrium, as with anything. So to do this, my guides have shared with me that it's the force of negative energy emanating from the collective lower consciousness. That's what's causing the imbalance. And that must be eliminated before we can ascend higher. So lately, we're seeing this occur collectively with all the natural disasters going on, with the heated political arena, with COVID-19 pandemic, with the protesting and riots breaking out around the world. And personally, many of us are experiencing our shadow side surfacing. So from destructive habits and patterns to our inner demons, insecurities, and some of our greatest fears that are coming up for us. But all of it is surfacing in an attempt to be healed and neutralized and then released. And only then can we begin our journey into ascending higher on a mind, body, and soul level. So again, if you've been following me, I've talked a little bit about the ascension process that we are all experiencing right now. What is ascension? Ascension is all about those of us who are choosing to consciously step into a higher level of light, okay? So it's actively choosing to evolve into higher consciousness, higher awareness. Ascension is merging with your higher self, and it's about opening your heart and aligning with the divine spark that's within you. You hear me talk about the divinity within, right? Which is all love. So it's a process of aligning with that higher consciousness and with the divine. Those of us who are awake or in the process of awakening tend to gravitate to this type of spiritual conversation, to reading these types of books, listening to these types of podcasts, webinars, maybe attending retreats and so forth, that allow us to tune into the spiritual side of life rather than just operating in the day-to-day three-dimensional world. I remember many years back, it was like early 2000s, when Oprah had her show, she had Eckhart Tolle, spiritual teacher and author. She had him on for a series of interviews centered around what was then his new book. It was called A New Earth. Eckhart, he has served as one of the many great pioneers in this awakening process. It's a fabulous book. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend. But he was introducing us to the everyday person to these spiritual concepts and preparing us and bringing awareness to a world beyond this one, a world beyond just the three-dimensional way of operating and seeing things. And so, what is awakening? It's when you actually wake up to the truth that there's so much more going on than just what the physical eye can see, right? So much more than just this physical realm. And that there's a power greater than ourselves. And this power, whatever you want to call it, I call it God, you can call it source, universe, supreme being. But this power it divinely orchestrates our lives, okay? And it's that thread that, connects us all. When you really know that and believe it, you start to see that there's a rhyme and a reason to everything that we go through. And it's all in an attempt to help us to grow and evolve our souls. Waking up to that knowing that you are a spark of the divine, right? It's that I am presence within you. It's that divinity within that is being expressed as you. And so awakening and spirituality are both a part of ascension. As you learn to take control of your awareness, acting as a co-creator of your life, then you are able to wake up to the authentic nature of your spirit. And then you're able to empower yourself to consciously align with higher consciousness and with the divine in every moment. So this comes back to all my teachings over the years. It's about co-creating. Your future is not set in stone. You are an active co-creator, and you signed up for all of it. There are no victims. We are here by choice, and especially at this time on planet Earth, we chose to be here. And so Ascension really is elevating your vibration and rising above the experience of victimhood, of duality, of negativity, of fear and separation. So we're going from the three-dimensional plane to a five-dimensional plane. So let's break this down. The third dimension is the earth world. The fourth dimension is the dream world or the astral plane. And the fifth dimension is the spirit world. Okay, so that's really simply put. There are other dimensions beyond the fifth dimension as you move up the scale. Broad term from what my guides have shared with me is I just call it the higher heavens. Okay, it does go on to higher dimensions. But all you need to be concerned with for this conversation is we're talking about the third through the fifth dimension. So the third dimension, it's all about separation consciousness, right? This is where we may view life as being hard, or there's struggle, scarcities, war. It's masculine energy over feminine, okay? The fourth dimension is where we start to have awareness of energy, of consciousness and connection, realizing that we're more than our bodies. We have a body. It's just serving, though, as a vehicle to allow our souls, that light, okay, that's eternal, to carry out what our soul's purpose is. So in the fourth dimension, when you're operating from this consciousness, this is where you see I create my reality, right? I'm a co-creator with my reality. From this place, this is where if we do affirmations or manifesting work, vision boards, okay, we focus on what we want and we're more aware of whatever we put out there comes back to us so that we're more conscious of focusing only on the wanted or the positive. Because again, what you think about expands and you're going to attract into your life. And then you move to the fifth dimension consciousness. This is unity consciousness, okay? This is that I am one with all. It's that place of oneness. And then you recognize the world around you as your mirror. So this is where we are more conscious and aware and in control of stabilizing your vibration in a place of peace and joy and love, removing all limitation. And when you're able to get to this place of oneness and this just higher vibration of love, it becomes, life gets fun. It becomes flowtastic, as I like to say. This is where all the miracles start just happening, is like everyday magic, right? This is where you've heard me talk about manifesting as your superpower, like miracles, synchronicity, flow, grace, and ease. This is how you create, this is how you move through life, because you're shifting your vibration and you're releasing all that static and that duality and that division and separation energy. You know, our ego, which is Wayne Dyer has this great acronym he always taught, and it's ego is EGO, is edging God out. Okay, so our ego is that part of us that feels separate from all. And it's, you know, the ego definitely has its benefits and its purpose within our makeup, but it also has the tendency to help us, make us feel separated and alone, and choosing from fear versus love. So right now, with everything going on, our ego has to get up to speed with this moving into these higher dimensions. So the ego has to shift up from the 3D, you know, solely operating from that place, into 5D. But you just need to expect that your ego is going to fight this. And it will do it by avoidance, okay? Avoiding things or creating distractions, busyness, creating drama, maybe even moving you into a place of doubt, insecurities, fears. This is a lot of times where our addictions might come in, whatever that might be, the drug of choice, to numb so that you don't have to deal, you can avoid, don't have to feel. So the ego, on some level, there's a death. Really normal right now. If while we're going through this, moving through between the third dimension, fourth dimension, and fifth dimension, it's really, really normal. I just want you to know, I hear it all the time from clients I'm working with and from family and friends, that if you're feeling up and down from one day to the next, okay, and you really might think like, what's wrong with me? You know, I feel like a mental case, or I feel incredibly hormonal. I'm all over the place from, you know, one moment to the next, one day to the next. That's really normal right now. I just want you to like have compassion with yourself and just recognize that your energy, your vibration is bouncing all over the place. You know, so one day you might feel you're really down and out and you're in the third dimension, and that's okay. And the next day, you might feel really up and in and really connected and clear and loving, and everything rolls off of you. Well, that means your vibration is high and you are aligned with that higher self view and operating in that fifth dimension. Really, this is all part of the process as we shed these old layers, okay? What we're doing is we're healing our shadow frequencies. We're clearing old karma, okay? Any energy that we brought in, any karma, any shadow frequencies that we incarnated into this lifetime with, that we did so with the intention to heal them, to learn from it, to neutralize it, and to then release it. And then once we do, that's where we lighten and heighten our own vibrational frequency. And thus, that's where you move into your own ascension, whatever level that is at for you. So ultimately, our goal is to raise our consciousness to this higher place of truth and love, and to be in a continual state of divine faith and trust. And really, this is about bringing heaven to earth, because I've always said, my guides have taught me, heaven or hell, it's a state of mind. It's not a place. It's a place within you. It's a place within your consciousness. So you can create a living hell right now in this world, or you can create a heaven on earth. It's all about where your consciousness is at and how you choose to show up in the world, how you choose to think. And you can do it also in the spirit world. As we embody this fifth dimensional consciousness now, while we're still here in the third dimension, this is where all of the magic exists. Okay. And this is where we will find that we're, as we do this, we're starting to live in a state of miracle consciousness because our energy vibration starts to match that frequency of miracle consciousness. And again, that's where the synchronicities take place, the miracles, the blessings. It all becomes natural and normal occurrences in our everyday life. So who wouldn't want that, right? Easier said than done. I understand. It's like a habit and it's a practice. It's a daily practice. Really, it's about the more you do it, the stronger it becomes, the more natural it becomes, and eventually becomes your default, your natural set point. So all of us are going to be experiencing this differently. It's not a one size fits all. Okay. There's no good or bad. As Spirit shows me, we're all on the yellow brick road. Think of the Wizard of Oz. We're on the yellow brick road on our way home. Along that path, we're going to be at different points at different times. There's no good or bad. It just is. It's like when you're in school, third grade isn't worse than, fifth grade. It's just your level of evolvement or development, and there's a natural progression. So it just is. I've worked with many, many clients over these past couple years, actually, sharing very common experiences. And really what I've learned is these all kind of fall into the category of the Ascension symptoms. It is real, and you can call it whatever you want, but my guides have adopted is the Ascension symptoms way of explaining it. And so here's some of them. And I'm sure a bunch of you listening can relate. If you have felt like your sleep patterns have been off, okay, disrupted sleep, poor sleep, frequently waking up in the middle of the night, or you're sleeping so deeply and then you wake up and you're really disoriented. You can't really place what day or time it is, and it takes you a few seconds to really snap out of it. Or waking up just really groggy and there's really no logical explanation. That's a big part of this. A lot of times what's happening is we are astral traveling, and that means we leave our body at night and we're moving into the fourth dimension, the dream world, sometimes even the fifth dimension. And that's where we will have visitations from our loved ones who have died, or connection with our team in spirit, our guides, our angels, who are working with us and reminding us of what we signed up for. So some other symptoms, physically, just headaches, and you can't explain why, out of nowhere, lightheaded, just like fogginess. That's been a big one for me. And GI issues. I personally have experienced this where you just have bloating or pain in your stomach, and you just, again, you can't trace it back to anything that you ate or drank. You're not sick, so it doesn't really add up. Toothaches. I was going through toothaches to the point I went to my dentist and I swore I had a cavity or I need a root canal. She's like, no, you don't. You're fine. My energy healer picked up on it in a few of my sessions, saying there was trapped negative energy in my teeth and that she would clear that. Heart palpitations, and then appetite changes. So, whether you've just lost your appetite or it's like out of control, or your food preferences have changed. So, a lot of people I've heard have become more attracted to being vegetarian or vegan. And I do believe it has a lot to do with the frequency of what you're putting into your system. You can eat foods that make you feel alive, the higher vibration, or denser processed foods that make you feel dead and heavy and weighed down. I personally have experimented with that this past month where, I don't know, for comfort, I've medicated with some sugar, chocolate, stuff I am typically very aware it doesn't work for me. I need to stay away from it. And my guides, lovingly but directly remind me if I feel off, that's why. And I need to clean up my diet. So it's just really, again, checking in what makes you feel alive, what makes you feel off or depressed or down or dead. And again, it's going to be different for all of us. And then being accountable and really trying to choose from love and not fear. Take care of your vessel as we go through this. And then finally, there's the emotional side where you just feel like you can't suppress your feelings. You just feel really hormonal or mental, like I'd mentioned previously. Extreme mood swings, very common. Or I've heard a lot of people feeling very lonely and very just homesick, missing something and they can't put their finger on what. My guides have explained that's you being disconnected from your higher self. Okay, because your higher self is connected to that oneness, which is love, all love. And so when you feel this way, the best thing you can do is go within, connect to that place of oneness, of the divinity that fills you up so that you don't feel so alone. It's a real thing right now, especially with the pandemic and being forced to isolate, the social distancing. It's not helping. So it's really just being real. If you guys are feeling this, just know you're not alone. I hear this all the time, and I too, I'm going through it. So let's just break this down on a mind, body, spirit level. What my guides have shared with me on what things you can do that might help, okay? So on a mind level, awareness is key. It's becoming aware of toxic thoughts and patterns or behaviors that keep you in these denser vibrations of fear. So my guides have encouraged me to journal, to really just sit down and process my feelings and thoughts and do it through words, get it off my chest, take a mental inventory of my life. I wrote about this in my first book, Spirited. I have a section in there where I map it out for you on how to do it. A dump list, a keep list. So if you want more information on that, check out the book, Spirited. Another thing we can do on a mind level, eliminate distractions. Okay, this is about turning off the TV, putting down the smartphone, or stop numbing with that drug of choice. We're seeking an altered state of mind to ultimately escape. So instead, we want to make up our mind or set the intention to find healthier ways to shift. On this level of it, learning to meditate and to pause your mind, to get present and to increase your awareness. So meditation. And then finally, another thing we can do is affirmations. Affirmations help us reprogram our mind. It's rethinking, right? Giving focus to what we want to create, what we want to attract, what we want to be. Here's things we can do on a physical body level. Grounding, you guys. Grounding is so important. And for me, I know when times get rough or I feel unsafe or insecure, I try to dissociate. I don't do it consciously, but I'm more comfortable in the higher realms and in my higher chakras. But our point of power is in the body, in the present moment, and we need to get grounded. Our energy does get clogged. Our energy gets covered. When you start to feel covered and weighed down by other people's stuff coming at you. And this is where we get disconnected from source. So we want to get grounded and we want to hook up to source. An energy healer taught me just, put down a grounding cord. And sometimes I have to do it many times a day, but a grounding cord from your root chakra all the way down into the center of the earth, wrapping around the earth's crystal. And then you pull that energy up through your entire being, up, out through the crown of your head, and then hook up to source. That's where you plug into that energy of all love, unconditional love. And then you pull that source energy down into your crown. And I see it as golden white light, and you're just pouring it down into the crown, into every chakra of your body, and helping you to feel grounded and connected. The next thing we can do on a physical level, do high vibrational things that raise your frequency above the frenetic energy of fear and doubt and pain. So just make the intention to not be a match to the lower frequencies. So any high vibe stuff, things that bring you joy, this is where a lot of times this combines grounding, where if you go for a run or a hike or, do yoga, it raises your vibe. It gets you in this moving meditation, but it also grounds you. So another thing we can do, feel your feelings, right? You got to feel it to heal it. So it's all about embody your feelings. Don't try and bypass it. Really sit with it. I have had to learn this. It's not comfortable, but notice where you're at. And check in with your body. Where do you hold your feelings? For me, I hold it in my GI, in my stomach, and that creates all sorts of problems. So we hold stress also in like a big places in, the thoracic area, in the shoulder blades, or in the neck. It's where we hold tension and stress. A lot of us hold anxiety and sadness in our heart. And over time, this dis-ease creates disease. So it's really important we sit with it, feel our feelings, and that we are able to understand them and then be able to get neutral about them and then release them. Okay, another thing on a physical level that we can do is detox. We want to clear toxins. 80% of our immune system's in our gut. And when our gut is off, that's where we're more vulnerable to getting sick. And it's where also the gut is tied to the brain, and that's where we experience brain fog. I know for me, a few times a year, I like to do a really good detox to just reset my system and release toxins. And then finally, diet and exercise. Again, not a one size fits all. It's going to look different for all of us, but figure out what works and then do it. Diet, it's obviously, you've got to see again what makes you feel healthy. Some of us have food intolerances, some of us don't. It's really figuring out where you feel clean and the best energy and really deciding, not to eat things that create inflammation in the body or brain fog or any of that stuff. And then exercise. It goes without saying, we need to exercise for so many reasons: to ground, to take care of our heart and our physical health, to stay limber and loose so that we can enjoy our time in the body and not just endure it, feeling uncomfortable or having limitation with any health issues. So really figuring out what that balance looks like for you with diet and exercise. And then finally, we're moving on to the spirit level. I know you are going to roll your eyes when I say this because I say it all the time, but it's because it's so true. And if there was one thing I had to preach that spirit has taught me is the most important and transformative along our spiritual journey, it's prayer and meditation. Using P&M, as I like to call it, prayer and meditation. Prayer is us talking to God or source or spirit. And meditation is when we quiet our minds and open to receive. We listen. Really figuring out a practice, a daily practice. It can be 5 minutes and it can be 2 hours. It's really up to you and what you feel you need. And that can vary day to day. There's some days I really don't need much more than a few minutes. And other days I feel like I need the whole day to get realigned and tapped into that higher consciousness. Another thing we can do is surround yourself with like-minded people, spiritually like-minded, and people that vibrate at the same level as you. Events, situations that vibrate at the same level. Only bringing into your system, whether you're reading or listening to things that feel good, that hold that same level of vibrational frequency. So spiritually minded material, really being conscious and mindful of who and what you let into your orbit, into your system on all levels. And another thing we can do is sound healing, especially if you're a clairaudient like me. I'm really sensitive to sounds and it works for me in both ways. But when I find sounds that are pleasing or that are high vibrational, they raise my frequency. And you can listen to meditations, you can use binaural beats, or just there's all this sound healing meditation music out there now. I find so much great stuff on YouTube. You'll be guided if that's something you're supposed to do. But like Tibetan bowls, crystal bowls, amazing crystal bowls, how like they can shift your energy in moments. Sometimes it's just chanting mantras, using whatever that is to create that vibrational healing. Finally, getting energy healings. I'm a big believer in this. There's so many amazing healers out there. And when you find healers that really resonate with you, see it as a gift. Could I do it on my own? Probably, but that's not my area of expertise. And it would probably take me 10 times longer. There are times, yes, on a daily basis, I do my own clearings. I've learned tools and meditations and I do my own healings. Every now and then, it's really wonderful to have someone outside of you who's objective to attune your energy. So get a short tune-up. Sometimes it only takes a few minutes. And for sometimes whatever you're going through, it might take a more in-depth session, an hour session, 2 hours maybe. When you feel you need a clearing, reach out because God Source uses our brothers and sisters, other people, to be our messengers and works that divine energy through others. And sometimes their being more objective and neutral makes for a more efficient and powerful experience. So I always say, even times when I can't get a clear read on something because I'm too close to it, I will go seek out, an intuitive or a shaman, because it's like a surgeon doesn't operate on themselves, right? There's just no way. And so sometimes, even if you are really consciously, spiritually advanced and aware, you need someone else outside of you to help. And that is okay. So I highly recommend working with an energy healer or healers when you feel you need that. So what it boils down to is simply a matter of integrating your light into your being, okay? So that soul light into the physical vessel. You are a soul, but you have a body, as I said before, and bringing your spiritual power into the physical. And it's opening your heart, it's becoming aware, and it's shining that divine light within you out into the world. And remembering that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. And this is temporary. But what's eternal is that light within you, that spiritual being, that soul you. With that, I am going to leave you with a channeling that my guides channeled through me. And this was through my automatic writing. And so I will share with you what they wrote through me for all of us. And I hope it resonates, and I hope it brings you some peace and comfort and some inspiration to check in and connect with your own team and spirit, and to do that prayer and meditation, and then start to receive your own divine guidance and comfort and inspiration. Hello, dear ones. It is time. It is now. The shift is well underway, and you listening to this now will feel a shift in your energy frequency as we align with you. Listen to these words, hear our prayers, and we are the masters on high, the team Rebecca refers to as her master crew. We are here to help you, to enlighten you as we do her in times of need, distress, or uncertainty. You may feel lost, alone, confused, or afraid. It is okay, dear ones. This is much like a young child who is asleep in the dark, awakens to a room of darkness, and goes into a mind state of panic and fear. You know, as do we, that all is well. There is nothing to fear. However, it is very real for this child who is limited in their vision, in their thinking, in their understanding of what is real and what is not. Take the truth of what speaks to your soul and leave the rest. Whatever resonates with you will shift you, uplift you, and heal you. Whatever does not will simply fall away. Let your mind, heart, and soul open to receive. Let your guides move you through your days ahead. We suggest you take time to pray each day, lovingly inviting in your guides and angels, your masters, whoever works for your highest and best good, as you move through this process. The days ahead will be heated, filled with upheavals on all levels. The world needs a healing, a cleanse, a purge. This has been taking place the past few months, as you see many things burning to the ground. Many things being swept up and away, and many things surfacing to be extinguished once and for all. It is much like a physical death, dear ones. However, you have an opportunity. You get to stay embodied while we clear this planet of fear and denser vibrations. And then once we are complete, you will move through life with greater flow, grace, and ease. You will start to experience the higher vibration of this spirit world, bringing heaven to earth, as you may say. This way of being will feel far more fulfilling than the way you've been accustomed to operating since being born into this body. You will feel this as a familiar hug from above, the way you operate when disembodied in spirit. When you feel this lightness, your soul lights up. You sparkle and shine. The real you, the soul, is allowed to be free. This sense of freedom and oneness is who you are in truth. We are bringing those of you who seek this now back into alignment with this truth, with this oneness. You are ready if you are hearing these words. If you felt drawn and called, then trust you are guided. If you feel afraid, that's okay. But know that is just your mind playing tricks on you. We wish for you nothing but peace. We are here to help you find it now. Say these few words each day and know you are divinely held in the loving presence of I Am. I am that I am. I am here, now, open to receive the healing energies of Source Light. I am here to shift my frequency, releasing all that no longer serves me. I am here to open my heart and soul to be the light, to be the I Am presence that I am. I am embracing my oneness. I am that I am, and so it is. Thank you, dear ones. Now go, be, just be you. Trust and know you are never alone. We are near, just a prayer away from being with you and all around you. Let go and know you are safe. All is well. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Small Medium at Large. To register for one of my Rebecca Rosen live online events or virtual small group readings, and to sign up for my newsletter, please visit my website, RebeccaRosen.com. There you will also find additional resources for your spiritual journey, including my self-guided courses, books, and blog videos. You can also follow me on social media by searching @Medium Rebecca Rosen on Facebook and Instagram. As always, wishing you brightest blessings and all love.